Hey guys, Razorblade Apple Films here. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Benchmade 300-1 Axis Flipper. Alright, so believe it or not, this is my first Benchmade knife. It's my first experience with the Axis lock and 154 cm, so it's kind of a little bit of a learning curve for this knife. I got this knife for Christmas, and first of all, sorry I haven't made a video in about a month, but I've been saving up money to get a camera, and I ordered it, and it's going to be taking a little bit longer than I anticipated shipping, so I was like, well, I'll just make one more review with this camera. So yeah, there's going to be an update in quality with the camera, but other than that, I haven't really spent money on knives in a while because I've been saving up for this camera. So now that I finally purchased that, I'm going to be getting more knives. But this is a knife that I got for Christmas, so I thought I'd get this review up. I've had about a little bit over a month carry time experience with this. So, let's get into the review. So as far as the design goes, very, kind of a little bit of a zero tolerance Rick Hinderer look to it. You got the beefy handles, deep carry pocket clips, sculpted G10, kind of a thick blade. Overall, just kind of a stocky knife. Normally this isn't a knife that I would have picked out myself, because I tend to like knives that are a little bit slimmer, or something, I don't know, something just overall with a, let's see, here's a Kershaw Chill, another flipper, the only other flipper I have, and I actually sold a couple of my knives just to get, just to have more money for the camera. And one of the knives I sold was my Kershaw Skyline, and I know I said that was one of my favorite knives of the year, but I don't know, I ended up selling it, so so either way, yeah, I kind of like knives a little bit more of a slim design like that. It takes up less room in your pocket and just overall looks kind of sleek. This knife isn't exactly like that. This is more of a tank knife, very beefy handles. It's got an open frame construction, the full flow-through design, so it's not going to collect dust as much. You can already see a little bit of dust collecting in there, actually. I have been carrying this knife. This is pretty much the only knife I've been carrying because I haven't had any other new ones. So it's got G10 handles, which are blue and black. It looks really nice. There's another, the regular 300 just comes with like tan handles, so I'm glad I got this one over that one. I do like the blue a lot more. A lot of, well, I just dropped it. A lot of this knife, aesthetically, I like a lot. I love the G10 handles, and with that design in it, and the blue and black, and I really like the pocket clip. I love deep carry pocket clips, and this does have that on there. It's kind of got a weird finish. I don't know what they call that. I think is this a Parkerized clip? I don't know, but it's not just like the regular paint. It's kind of got like a bit of a vintage wash to it. I don't know. I really like this clip though. This is like probably my favorite part of the knife. So I'm definitely going to be able to get more, or going to be getting another Benchmade knife, just because I like this Axis lock so much. Let's talk about that real fast. I guess just this deployment is very smooth, and there's a lot of ways to deploy the knife. You can deploy it with the thumb stud. You can kind of roll it out discreetly. You can actually use the Axis lock, which basically is just a little lever you pull back. It's the same. It's ambidextrous, so you can, if you're left-handed, you can do it. And you pull that back, and it basically is the detent for the blade. So, once you pull it back enough, it releases the blade. It's a very smooth blade. It's pretty much free swinging. So you can just, pull back on that. It's kind of awkward. It's kind of awkward doing it around a camera, but So the Axis lock is very fun. And then there's the last method, which is just the flipper. And it does work pretty good. I've seen some people complain that it's not a very smooth flipper, and because it doesn't have a really strong detent, the Axis lock is basically what's holding it down. You can make it fail if you just kind of lazily push it, but if you do the push button technique, which is basically just pushing straight down, it should come out every time. Or if I kind of build up a little bit of energy and kind of catch the very tip of the flipper, and it flicks out very nicely. So the deployment is great, very fun knife. I love this axis lock. Yeah, I was kind of like, I knew I was going to like the axis lock just from watching videos of it. It's very similar to a Spyderco compression lock. So here is my brand new brown G10 Sprint Run Paramilitary 2 with the S35V in steel. And the compression lock, you know, it's equally as easy to open, I mean, deploy and close. Plus you can just flick it out with the compression lock, kind of like this. So yeah, the deployment is great on this knife. Other than that, it's got a very thick blade stock, so stabbing or, you know, slight prying is not going to be a huge problem. It's got a stonewash blade, and that's really nice to hide scratches. 154 cm steel, which basically, best way I can describe it is it's in between S30V and VG10. Holds its edge a little longer than VG10, but not as long as S30V. And those are the only steels I have basically like surrounding this knife. So can't really compare it to anything else. You know, it's way better than something like AUS 8 or HCR 13 MOV. The only real problem I have with this knife, well, real fast, look at the blade centering. It's pretty much perfect. No blade play. The only real problem I have with this knife is when I got it from the factory, basically this whole portion was sharpened perfectly, and then this little section right here, like about an inch of that, was not sharpened well at all. And even right now, it's still not very sharp. So if I cut a piece of paper right now, that's going to be a little bit less sharper than this. And I'm not an expert sharpener, so I had a bit of a time trying to get that, you know, equal edge all the way through. And I still haven't got it perfect, but I fixed it a little bit. So other than that, though, the knife is really sharp. I don't actually have a piece of paper with me to test the sharpness, but it is pretty sharp. I'm sure it'll go through a piece of paper very cleanly, except for this area right down here. It might snag a little bit, but you know, I'll try to fix that. Other than that, it's got the little butterfly logo right here, and it is made in USA, like most of their models. So it's got some jimping right here. Jimping's not perfect, but I don't really care about jimping that much. It's kind of got like a Bowie blade shape. Flipper will act as a finger guard, like pretty much all flippers. And the finger grooves, I normally don't like finger grooves. I like knives that are just kind of like more simple handles, or something with just kind of like indents in it, like the Paramilitary 2. I don't really like finger grooves because, you know, everyone's hands are different, so some people's hands are going to fit and some people's aren't. Mine fit alright, but it could be better. But I still have a little bit of room to, I find myself wanting to choke up a little bit like this, to where I have more room hanging out, or like a little bit left at the end, but then it kind of like ruins the ergonomics, so I kind of have to hold it back. So here's a size comparison next to some other knives. Here is the 300-1. Well, let's put that in the center. Alright, here's a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Quite a bit bigger. Here's another flipper I have, the Kershaw Chill. And here is a Kershaw Emerson CQC 5K. So, very kind of a smaller knife, but it's still beefy, so if you like that, you know, that's something you want to get. Honestly, it's a little bit not what I like. I would prefer a longer knife, or at least something like this. You know, you get a lot of blade length for the size, and it's kind of shorter if you hold it up next to it. But overall, you know, some people are going to like it, some people aren't. There are definitely things I like about it, like specifically the pocket clip, the axis lock, obviously, but most Benchmade knives have that. And the G10 handles with that blue and black color looks really nice. Alright, so here's a quick stab test just on this piece of wood, just to see if the steel is strong enough. I have no doubt in my mind that it's not going to bend or anything. So, Yeah, it is made of a really hard steel, so let's test this real fast. And you can see it bit really deep into the wood. So this would be a pretty good tactical knife if that's what you wanted it for. Here's the edge, still in really good condition, and yeah, so it would be a good tactical knife. It's got a really thick blade, very fast deployment. You should have a pretty good grip on it, so if that's what you wanted it for, it would be a pretty good knife for that. One thing I did want to say real fast is the G10 is very smooth, so it's not going to be the best grip, but because of the texture in the handle, it's, you know, you're going to have a better grip on it because of that. But if it had no texture, it wouldn't be that grippy, because the G10 is very smooth. It's nothing like a paramilitary 2, because it's kind of like polished. Quick shot of the G10 up close. So it's not going to have that little like woven texture like the paramilitary 2. So real fast, let's do a spine whack test with the axis lock. I've never done that before. It's probably not going to be a problem at all. Yep, it's pretty strong. So, yeah, I don't know, I just love that axis lock, honestly. You can sit there and play with it all day. And by the way, you shouldn't have to worry about the springs like breaking. Some people complain about that. I mean, I've only had mine for a month, but I have like been carrying it pretty much every day, and I've been flicking it like non-stop, and I haven't had a problem with the springs breaking. So if that's something you like to do, you know, just playing around with your knives when you're like watching TV or on the computer or something, it's not going to be a problem. Like a torsion bar knife, you know, something that's assisted, specifically a Kershaw that I've had in the past, like a Kershaw Leak. I was kind of doing that with the knife, and the Kershaw bar, the torsion bar broke. That's just something that's not going to stand up well over time. I'm thinking these springs will, but I will let you know if they don't. Ooh, that bit in really deep. So real fast, here's how it looks in the pocket. Because of that deep carry pocket clip, hides very nicely. So overall, I like the knife. It's got some flaws, but you know, it's a pretty good knife. If you like the design, I definitely recommend getting it. It's probably going to be like one of your favorite knives. But me, personally, just because I don't really like the design too much, it's not perfect, because just that, you know, thickness, the handle thickness, the finger grooves, I mean, don't really line up that well. Just a little stocky looking. But other than that, I do like the deep carry pocket clip, do like the colors, and do like the axis lock in the 154 CM. So, but the main con is probably the price. It's $150, so I would definitely recommend a paramilitary 2 over this, and it is going to be competing with a lot of other knives. A lot of the Spyderco models I like more than this, but I'm a little bit biased just because I like Spyderco a little bit better. I like the designs. I just like the looks a little bit better. But, you know, if you just want a Benchmade, you could probably get a Griptilian, and those are a lot cheaper. But I would definitely recommend a paramilitary 2 over this. And that's just me. So, yeah, overall, though, it's a good knife. I have been carrying it for about a month. Axis lock is very fun. And, I don't know, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about it. So thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it.